I was muted. Good morning, nerds. It's me, your buddy, pal, HeyArcher. Last minute live video for all of you. Sitting down. I kind of want to label this series like a coffee talk, if you would. So if you've got your coffee, you've got your tea, here's to you. We've got Paximus on TV right now doing his live study session. So make sure to check him out too. But I wanted to do a follow-up video to last night's Wonder Woman video. So, of course, welcome to HeyArcher. This is HeyArcher Live, like a bonus episode. Again, a coffee talk. So here's to starting off your weekend. The HeyArcher Live, HeyArcher mug is available at HeyArcher.com. So, last night was the premiere of Wonder Woman 1984. And after doing my video, I also realized, oh, by the way, Vlogmas Day 26. So welcome to, we're getting to the end of Vlogmas. We're almost done with Vlogmas. I had a plan yesterday to do like 2 or 3 videos, get those ready to come out this week, following the review of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman to me was a disaster. Threw off my whole day. So instead of me trying to rush out a video, I was like, I'll just do a live video. We'll just chat. Again, have some coffee, sit down, relax. I think for these coffee talks, I'll try to have some sort of like chill music playing next time. I just thought of this kind of on the fly. But there were a couple questions people had about Wonder Woman. And I also saw these questions in various reviews that I watched after I posted my review. Because I was curious to see what everybody else thought. Because some reviews were out for days. That's also usually a flag to me. My initial flag, I always say, is if a company is releasing like full-on clips of a movie, like just straight up, like here's the first 5 minutes of a movie, that's a flag. Like they're trying to catch you, they're trying to grab you because they think it's not going to do it on its own. So that was my first flag. But also reviews being out like a whole week early was a little bit odd to me. Usually it's like maybe a couple days before, week of. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to hold off on watching anything until I watch the movie because I didn't want to be affected by any of that stuff. So the first question that a lot of people asked after the review, or if they've not seen the movie, I should say, was Kristen Wiig actually good in the movie? She was. Kristen Wiig actually. Oh, by the way, I'll have light spoilers in here. I won't spoil anything to the extent where it ruins plot. Like I won't talk about plot in this discussion, but it'll be a more, I guess, like in-depth review for you as you determine if you want to watch it or not. She was good in the movie. And I think she did the best with what she was given as far as a role. Now, in my trailer reaction to this movie and in my review, if you watch that, again, this is like not a major spoiler. This is just kind of like it's kind of obvious, but you know, she gets her powers and goes from like super nerdy to like super hot and powerful and all that kind of stuff. The way they do that in the movie, it kind of makes sense. But then they just like ruin it. They ruin that whole transition part. So Kristen did the best she could. I thought her acting was actually pretty decent. And there was nothing overly wrong with her in general. It was just the way that they had the character. The development was good. The way the movie was going was good. But they just, it just wasn't, it didn't nail it. Like she didn't nail it. And the reason being, actually, I'm going to go right into the second question that comes up a lot is, how was Pedro in this movie? Both Kristen and Pedro, same, my thoughts are the same. They both did the best that they could with the role they were given. They essentially copy the formula of Batman Returns. You know, I even mentioned that, you know, Kristen Wiig, she does a Catwoman transformation. You know, she's nerdy, gets her powers, now she's hot and all this stuff. And they do this Batman Returns thing where you have these two villains kind of going side by side, doing their own thing against Wonder Woman, and then all of a sudden have to like join forces. Batman Returns, it made sense at a certain point of them joining forces. Like they just kind of were like, oh, we'll be bad together against Batman. In this movie, it didn't make sense why they were joining forces. Like, yes, there's a common point to it, but it almost gets forced at a certain point where they're just like, all right, now they're together, fight Wonder Woman. But an issue that I think a lot of people are having in the movie world, in the superhero world, is you saw movies like, Black Panther over there, and you saw movies like Endgame, or Infinity War. Infinity War. I haven't finished my coffee yet, so my brain's not firing on all cylinders just yet. But you see these movies like Black Panther, Infinity War, where they get you to sympathize with the villain. And I think a lot of movies now are trying to go that route. A lot of superhero movies, a lot of nerdy movies, they're trying to go the route where they muddy the waters between, is this person truly evil or not? Or like misunderstood, or like they try to get you to be on their side. And this movie tries to do that, especially with Kristen Wiig. And it kind of works, but then it doesn't. It's one of those where I understand her perspective. I understand what they were trying to do with it. But sometimes you just need to make villains bad. Like, you just sometimes need to just let it go and let villains be villains. And it's fine. And even Pedro Pascal's character, he's kind of a villain. And then they start to morph his character. They start to mold his character. And then at the very end of the movie, they kind of give you like his reasoning for what he did to almost try to get you to redeem how you feel about this character. And it's like, sometimes just let bad guys be bad guys. Sometimes that's all you need in a movie. Good morning, Aaron. Yes, surprise stream caught you off guard. This is just a follow-up to my Wonder Woman video. Light spoilers, not really in plot. I might just talk, like, if you don't want to know anything about the movie, again, if you're watching this, don't watch any of this, I guess. But even if you do watch this and you're thinking about watching it, I'll try not to spoil any major plot points or anything like that. And good morning, Ryan. Good to see you. All right. The third thing that has come up in discussions about Wonder Woman. Turn that one off. Did Steve Trevor make sense? No. The overall idea of Steve Trevor coming back to the plot makes sense. Again, I don't want to give any away major spoiler things here. It does and it doesn't. The idea of him being back makes sense, right? But the method of him coming back doesn't make sense. And I'll do a full-on spoiler, I guess, discussion some other time. But the method of him being back doesn't make sense. And the way that he even leaves, it's like they were reaching. They were like, we need to make, we really need to show that Wonder Woman has emotions and feelings and all that stuff. And I think the thing that they're missing and they don't realize is that she already has that. Like, we already know that Wonder Woman has feelings and emotions. Her leaving the mascara is her having feelings and emotions. Like, there's a world out there that I need to save. I need to put myself second to a greater good, a greater cause. She already does that. It's already built into the character. So by bringing Steve Trevor in, they're trying to remind you, hey, she has feelings, she has emotions. She struggles with that in what she wants versus what's needed. But it's like they're just shoving it in your face. And Steve Trevor, at a certain point, it's cool. It's the reverse of Wonder Woman Part 1, where he's the fish out of water to her existing, where in the first movie, she was a fish out of water. So that part makes sense. Or I should say that part is cool to see that. But at the same time, it's not necessary. It just wasn't necessary. And they brought him back and like, yeah, it's cool. He's there. He's, you have their romance, but he wasn't needed in this. Like, we could have already moved on from Steve Trevor. Like, we could have, if you really wanted to stretch something, they could have not even made it in 1984. They could have made it a present day Wonder Woman movie, and all of a sudden, Bruce Wayne is lurking around somewhere. And I know that they want this movie to not be part of like a larger DCEU, or at least that's the original concept I heard. But they the Steve Trevor romance with her, yeah, it's kind of cool, but it wasn't needed, and I don't think it pushed the plot in any type of way. It didn't push character development in any kind of way. It was merely there just to say, hey, there's that guy from the first movie. That's really what he served in this. And the last thing that this one I don't get questions on, or I haven't read questions on, but I don't think a lot of people talked about it, was the invisible jet. Now, this will be, a partial spoiler, but the invisible jet's in the movie, and the invisible jet, along with the armor, are not something earned in the movie. They merely exist. And in this movie, it's almost like they dumped everything that you like about Wonder Woman, or that you might remember about Wonder Woman, into this movie. They're like, yeah, invisible jet. She had that. Hey, remember she used to throw her tiara and stuff? They threw that in there. Remember she had a magic lasso? They threw that in there. They're just overloading this movie with Wonder Woman stuff to be like, hey, remember she's Wonder Woman, she can do all these things. And then with the golden armor, like it's the purest form of, we needed another suit, or we needed another action figure. We can't just have her wearing the same thing. Like, that's what the golden armor was. And by the time she uses the golden armor, it served no purpose at all. It was merely just there to exist. So the invisible jet, the armor, all of it, it was forced. It was just kind of shoved into the movie because we needed something. But that's kind of, I guess, where I fall. And as an overall thought, people are like, oh, maybe you expected too much out of this movie. Maybe as fans, you guys just always expect too much out of these movies. I don't truly agree with that statement. Yes, there is an expectation to superhero movies, but there's also an understanding that it's a superhero movie. It's a comic book movie. Things don't always have to make sense. Like, that's common knowledge. But I think at the end of the day, what we all want out of a superhero movie is at least pretend that the audience has a brain. Like, at least entertain the audience with what they came for. And it's always going to be the main character, the villain, and action. That's your simple formula to a superhero movie. And, you could scale it how you like. It could be something small, grounded, like, Batman. What was it? Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was the second one. Yeah. It could be something simple like that. You have two humans, two opposite sides of the coin, two opposite sides of the same coin. And, it's more grounded. There's not a lot of explosions. There's some, but there's not like the whole movie isn't exploding. You can have grounded stuff like that. If you want to be extreme, yeah, you go your route of like Infinity War. You have two opposing sides. You have pure evil. You have pure good. Sometimes pure evil thinks it's pure good. But they show up, they fight, and you move on. When these movies try to not be that, they try to be too much. They try to be like they're trying to win an Oscar for like a drama. Like, that's when these superhero movies, I think, screw up, in my opinion. So that's kind of where I fall on this one. It was just, I think Gal Gadot wanted to really show off her acting chops. And was she good as Wonder Woman? Yeah. But did I need to see 53 minutes of her just being Diana Troy? I forget her name. No, Donna Troy's a different character. Diana Prince or whatever. I didn't need to see 53 minutes of her just being Diana. Wasn't necessary. And the movie's 2.5 hours. So you could have got rid of a lot of that stuff and just keep it basic. Keep it simple. Keep it stupid. We don't need any. I'm not trying to watch Apocalypse Now was the analogy yesterday. I'm not watching this movie because I'm expecting the next Apocalypse Now. Nobody watches a superhero movie expecting that. But we want to see the superheroes fight. We want to see the superheroes have conflict and just make it, and win, And if they don't win at the end of the movie, that's fine. If you want to pull an Empire Strikes Back every so often, where the villain wins, or you're not sure who really won, like Infinity War, you're like, I'm pretty sure that Thanos will lose at the end of the day, but he won at the end of this movie. You can do that too. But keep it simple. Good guy, bad guy, fight, conflict. Move on. But, it is Prince. Diana Prince. Cool. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah. So definitely let me know in the chat what you thought about the movie. Let me know if you're excited to watch it. Let me know if there's any points here you just did not agree with. That's fine. I'm perfectly fine if people liked this movie. I just don't think... I think a lot of people sat there and watched it and maybe zoned out. They were on their phone. They played games. They were on Instagram. And then when Wonder Woman shows up, then they looked up and watched. I think that's what happened. And that's not a sign of a good movie. If you screw off every so often and look at your phone during a movie, that's fine. But if you're zoned out the entire time and you only kind of awaken in those few action points, not a good movie. So again, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe down below. Vlogmas Jace continues new videos every day for the month of December. No outro music. I didn't want to blast any music or anything. So I hope that you guys are all enjoying your coffee or tea, however it may be. It's currently 9:30 on the East Coast. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Hopefully you got to see some friends. And I'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace.